This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Place to Be Nation Pop Experience. Welcome back for episode 3 of Play While You Listen. I'm your host, Scott Shufflett, and on this month's adventure through the video game realm, I am joined by one of my best friends here on the podcast, and you know him because he's literally one of the busiest men in the podcast for our little podcast realm. I'm joined by Jacob Williams. Jake, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing well. Not talking wrestling for once, not talking pop culture per se. I guess video games are pop culture. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, I'm excited to talk video games with you, Scott. This is a very fun idea and a little bit of a blind spot in the pop experience. So I'm glad you've taken it over. Yeah,
I mean, as you know, like, I talk about video games a lot. Like, I'm a big old video game nerd. But you know, you surprisingly are not really closeted video game nerd, but like as I've gotten to know you more, I realized, damn, this dude is like plugged in on video games. So before we go over the release for the month of May, why don't you tell me about your little background on your video game history?
All right, so it all started back in my grandmother's trailer in like 1995 or something. So growing up, the first console I remember playing was the NES, and it's weird because, like I said, it was like mid-90s. Like by the time I was born, the NES was kind of on the way out, but it was more of a thing of like, it was because it was like the old console. It was like, I guess my sister had it when she was a kid, and my parents because she's older, and then so she then ended up at my grandmother's house in like the back room. And so I remember going over there, and you may have had the experience like this before. Like a lot of times you go to like a grandparent's house, and for whatever reason, it always seems like there's nothing to do there, at least in our time growing up.
No, you're 100% right, because my grandfather, a few times he would watch me, he just would buy me those little Tiger, like he thought they were video games. They were like great value Game Boys, which
had like 4 animations on it, like with a little gray LED, LCD, whatever the hell it was, would just like move across. Yeah.
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. And so there was the NES there. Now, pretty solid selection, not the most vast, but she had a lot of the heavy hitters. Because again, it was like for my sister, I guess. And my sister always played Tetris. They had Tetris, and that was like the one game she would play. So it was like Tetris, like the original Zelda with a swank gold cartridge, which always like blew my mind as a kid.
That might be worth some money today.
Could be. I may still have it in the old. I have like a cabinet where I keep all this any random old gaming stuff. But that the 3 original Marios, Duck Hunt, and then like a couple like weird games that I never played that were like. But just those. I mean, those are some pretty good heavy hitters. And like as a kid, as like a 6-year-old kid, that was enough to keep me occupied. So like anytime I'd go there, I would like play those. But NES, especially when like a young kid, is like hard as shit, and like there's no saving for a lot of these. Like I remember playing Mario 3, and like me and my sister were always trying to beat it, but you couldn't save. And so like it's not like a super long game, but like you'd be playing it, and like your grandma's like, all right, we need to eat dinner. So we would do this thing where you just turn the TV off, but not the system. And like it probably wasn't good. I'm sure it was close to overheating sometimes. So we just leave it on, because if you turned it off, you just lose all your progress. So, and like just all the secrets, like the whistle and stuff. But anyway, so I played that, and that's kind of how I got into games in the first place, is like playing this at my grandma's house. And so after that, like once my parents figured out that I was kind of into video games, it was about when PS1 came out, and it was like a year after. It was like September, and they knew I really wanted it. So they did the deal where it was like, okay, we know you really want it. This will be like your early Christmas present, but don't expect to get much for Christmas. I was like, okay, that's fine. So I got a PS1. The 2 games I got with my PS1, because this shows you how things are different. Like, so I just went to like, it was like service merchandise, and I had to pick like 2 games, and it ended up with this game called Epidemic, which was terrible. Like looking back, just awful, like weird first person. You're inside a robot, first person game. It was awful. And Air Combat, which I was like 7 at this point, and I think it's like Ace Combat now. But if you're, I don't know, are you familiar with these games?
I not familiar with Epidemic, but I do remember Air.
No one, no one is.
I am familiar with like Air Combat, but I think it's because like I can see like the green, like, you know, like the PlayStation, like when they had like the greatest hits, like for the PS1, I can see that cover, but I never played it. I was never into the games like that, surprisingly.
Right. Well, neither was I as a 7-year-old kid, because it was like a pretty realistic like flight simulator game. Like,
Oh God.
like, well, here's the thing, like, now if you want to buy a game, like you could go and watch like someone play the entire fucking game if you want to. But in those days, I just saw like it had like jets on the front, and so I'm thinking this is going to be like, like an arcadey kind of flying jets around. No, it's like a flight simulator kind of thing. Like it's a jet, and like when you're targeting the targets, it shows you like how far away you are in feet. And, like you slowly pursue them. Like not the most appealing games, like
Yeah,
7-year-old.
And this game sounds like it's 1996. I can't do the math right now, but 17 years ago, or no, 27 years ago, and it.
Right.
I'm sure the graphics, like we probably thought the graphics were amazing, because I remember like thinking back like on Madden or like the wrestling games, like, oh my God. But you look now and there's like blockheads. So it's like,
right.
Lord only knows like how bad like the if like you went back and attempted to play it today.
Right, and like you'd be going, and it wasn't like you were. There was no sense of speed because you're just like a flight simulator. So there's like, and you'd slowly like go after your target, and so I didn't really enjoy either though. I mean, I played them because that's all I had, but which was also that because my parents had already splurged and bought me this PlayStation, this brand new console. They let me pick these games, and they were like, "Well, that's pretty much all you're gonna get until Christmas." And like, lucky for me, they did buy me a few games for Christmas, and they didn't have to because they were like, "Look, we already bought you the console." But that was kind of when I got some proper. Like I remember getting like Crash Bandicoot 2.
Ooh, love those games.
I remember Croc. I don't know if you remember that game. That was like a great value Crash Bandicoot. But some more like I think I got Jet Moto, like some more like games you at least remember of the fucking Epidemic. Go Google Epidemic for PS1. Watch some footage of that piece of shit game. And then also like around that same time, like I started like getting friends like at school, and like they were kind of into games, so they had theirs, and so we'd kind of trade off. And that's when I really got into it. And like I would say by about third grade was where I was like going to my friend's house every weekend. And I had a friend who like you may appreciate this, Scott, but he so he lived with his mom, but his parents were divorced, so his mom would get the child support, and he almost got like his stipend every month of the child support. And so he would just buy video games with his stipend of the child support. And so,
I did not get my stipend of video game money. That would have been awesome. I did not get that stipend.
Yeah, but he was a good guy, but he probably was a little spoiled. His grandparents had a little money, so he like I was very modest compared to him, but like we were always buddies, so like we'd go over every weekend. He had like Nintendo 64, PlayStation, and like so we were playing everything. So from that point on, I would say I was pretty up on it, and like I got really into the magazines as a kid. Like I remember like I would get Electronic Gaming Monthly. My mom finally let me get a subscription, and like that was like I remember like those would come in. Yeah, I would read them like cover to cover every time, and from that point on, it was pretty steady. I think I dropped off a bit, like maybe late high school and like maybe early in the college, just because that's just time where you seem to drop everything that you actually like, because you're like, maybe everything I like is actually lame, and I need to change my entire personality. And then like you come back, and then I would say have like a little bit into college, I realized that was like when PS3 was out and like Call of Duty was crazy. So I had friends who were playing Call of Duty, and that kind of like, I never really got into it, but I would say that was kind of like the thing that brought me back after being maybe a little bit out of it for a few years. But yeah, pretty much my entire life.
And it's funny you mentioned that, Jake, because you giving up the video games is sort of when I gave up video games, because we're roughly around the same age, like a year or two apart for the listeners out there. But yeah, like yours is like the same thing. It's like then I got like brought back, but like I would go to a friend's house like you would and play like sports video games. We'd do like NCAA Dynasty, where we like recruited and simulated, and like I'd be at my buddy Ozzy's house for like 18 hours straight, and like we'd maybe move like 50 feet. But it's just funny how you mentioned that. So you had your grandma had the NES, then you had the PlayStation. Well, what did you have after that?
So after that, I had again, because I had so many, and my friends all had them. I only usually had one console because I was not that blessed. So I had I went PS1, and then of the Xbox, PS2, GameCube generation, I went GameCube, which was, I think it was okay. Again, it kind of didn't matter because I ended up playing everything anyway with my friends. And I had a Game Boy. I never got the GBA when it was out, but I did have a Game Boy. I know you appreciate this for Pokemon.
Yes.
For Pokemon Red and Blue. That was a big one. So I had like a Game Boy Pocket. That was big for me. So in that generation, I picked GameCube. So I was kind of like I don't know if like maybe in my head I wanted a GameCube because I knew like my friends maybe weren't going to have one, or even though they did eventually. But either way, I had my GameCube. I had some bangers on there, but it was nothing compared to PS2. PS2 owned owned video games for that time period. It's like insane. Like every person in your neighborhood had it. Like their dad played it. There was like 4 million games for PS2. It was absurd.
It's hard to explain really because like the internet was really starting to come into its own, at least from my perspective, because like I remember like my parents would have shows how redneck we were. They would have a Daytona party for the Daytona 500.
Mm-hmm.
And like my parents' friends, like they had were friends with like some coworkers who were like in their early 20s, and like I was like 11 or 12. My stepbrother was 13. My little brother's like 8 or 9, and like the lady's husband actually came over and got hooked on us playing video games. So like there was like this looking back, like it's whatever, but like everyone's huddled around us like as we're playing like Madden together, and like my mom came, and I can't even remember like the woman's name now. I can see her face. She's like, yeah, like so and so's husband went out and bought a PS2 the very next day after like us playing it all day like with him, and like he got his friends into it, and it's just so crazy like how video games like you didn't really have, like you said, like all these videos to see like what game I'm gonna get next. It was just like everyone has like a PS2, and like Sony really took. And I mean, PS2 is one of my favorite consoles of all time. Just
same.
You couldn't really, but like now with like the online stuff. But like I just think of all the time. But like it's also crazy. Like I'm sure like you have kids, and with the younger generation, they don't know what the hell a memory card is because the memory is built in now. But I remember like I had a little red memory card, and my parents ended up having to buy like a memory card for my stepbrother that's a year older than me because we used to just overwrite each other's shit because like hey, we're it's that rivalry because we're a year apart, and also we're dicks to each other. So we ended up like my parents were like, you guys like can't do anything, but but it's like, but yeah, PS2 is just like how you said, it just dominated. I mean, and then like sort of split up. So what did you have after the PS2? I know that was when you took you a little bit of a break.
Right. So I would say the beginning of like that next generation, I was kind of out for a bit, but I would say towards the middle or end of the PS3, like midway through college, I ended up getting a PS3. I had the because at that point it was kind of used. I had the big gigantic one with the Spider-Man. I think it's somewhere in my house still, but with the Spider-Man font, like the OG, like super shiny one. PS3.
Nice. Yes, I imagine that. Yeah. So do you hold on to all your consoles?
For the most part, like I don't know where my original placed it. Like those, like I was so young, I guess I'm assuming they're like somewhere around my dad's or something still.
Yeah.
But I would say, I don't know if my GameCube is around. Ever since the PS3, which I know is not that long, but definitely since the PS3 on, I have all of them. So my Game Boy I know is in the cabinet around, and I have a lot of the old games still, like I have some old N64 games. I have I still have the old NES games, I think, in the might still have the NES. I'm like a very inconsistent hoarder of the stuff. Like I have like some of it, but others are not. Like I'm not obsessed enough with it to like go that hardcore into it, but I have some of it.
No, that's awesome. And what did you have after the PS3? I'm sorry, we keep going off on tangents, but
So
like I hear something and I'm like, oh my god, goodness. So
right. So from PS3 on, we mostly had the PlayStation. So I had by that point I kind of was becoming an adult and had like decent amount. So since then I had PS4. We just got the PS5 not long ago. Kind of waited out a bit because I'm old now, and it's not even like I can't. I mean, obviously it was a pain in the ass to try and get it, and it has been. But it's more just like at this point as an adult, my backlog is just like overflowing. So my brain is like, I don't even always need the latest and greatest because like I have the Switch now, and like I could easily pick like 10 games on Switch that I want to play, like at any given moment. So like the backlog is so long that like I don't always feel the need to get consoles or games like as soon as they come out, as maybe I did when I was younger.
yeah, it's heartbreaking. Like I'm in my quote unquote Scotty room as we call it now, but like I can open my closet and I'll have like all these PS3 games and then like not as many PS4 games and then like a handful of PS5 games, just because
Right.
it's just like, I mean, damn, like I like I work 40 plus hours a week. You do as well. Like you have kids. Like I don't have them yet, but it's just like, oh, I got to spend time with my wife tonight. It's not like, hey, I'm just gonna get off of school at 3 o'clock, do homework till 5, eat dinner at like 7:30, then just play video games all night. Now it's like, all right, wife left the house for an hour. I can get in 6 PvP games if I'm good. And then like,
Right.
just do stuff around the house and everything. But so you're well versed. Like that's how like I ran. Like I would drop something about a Switch, and like you were talking about it. So it's
Mhm.
interesting because I, even with this conversation, I knew you had the PS5 because a
Mhm.
game we're going to talk about when you give you a review later. I knew you had PS5. I didn't realize. I just thought you were quite a straight up a Nintendo fanboy, and it's clearly that you're not. Like you've dabbled in
No.
every one, I think, besides Xbox, which
Right. I do think that I've always kind of liked Nintendo. It's maybe because I grew up with it, but I would say equal to Nintendo, probably PlayStation. Like I didn't have PS2, but it's again because like I got the GameCube and I had so many friends that had it. I don't really think I missed much by not owning my own PS2, like just because it was so ubiquitous at the time. Like you were gonna play everything anyway. But yeah, and I didn't have an N64 at the time, but I've always been like usually my go-to is the PlayStation stuff. Like PS1, I was hardcore, love my PS1. PS3 maybe. I think definitely now I gravitate towards the Switch just because it just seems to have the stuff I want to play more. But as I think the PS5, there's some things I want to get to, but yeah, not totally Nintendo fanboy, but have always been a big Nintendo. I'm definitely a Nintendo. You're right on the Xbox. Like I've never, and I don't know if it's just the way I grew up, but I haven't never really got into Xbox.
I think it's, to be honest, like with me, like I had a 360 at one point, as discussed on episode 1. If you guys want to go back and listen, but it's the controller for me with the PlayStation. Like it just feels right in my hands, and like with the
Right.
Xbox controller, I can never get like used to it. I don't know if it was like with the joysticks, with one being up high and like the other one like being down. Like I think the PlayStation controller, like whoever did that patent, I'm sure they got paid like, probably a decent amount of money, but not as much money as they need to be for that controller
Right.
patent.
Right. 100%.
Um, so we're talking about this. So give me your top 5 video games if you have them. I know
Right.
this is hard for a lot of people. It was hard for me when I did it. So
So I'm going to throw them out there. I won't be held to this. This is not, no, I'm not getting this notarized. And I kind of struggled towards the end because I had a few that came to my mind really quickly. But anyway, I'll throw some out there. These are easy candidates. These are not, the most obscure games either. So definitely up there, no particular order. I have Final Fantasy VII. So again, goes on your, place. That's a PlayStation
yep.
1, staple right there. But yeah, big final. All the Final Fantasies really, at least that early generation for sure. In general, that is kind of like my favorite genre of games. In case the wrestling podcast didn't put me enough as a nerd, is like the RPG games. I've always gravitated, and this is kind of the one that kicked it off for me. Was Final Fantasy VII on PlayStation 1 because it kind of introduced to me like what this type of game was, and it just kind of hooked me from the beginning. But yeah, I've played it numerous times. There were and like me and my friends. So I don't know if you're familiar with these, but like like in the PS1 days when you had these long epic games like a Final Fantasy VII, they were like multiple discs.
That was going to be my question. Thank you for answering that.
Yeah.
It was the 2 discs. I never played a Final Fantasy game, and there's another game series which we'll talk to about later that you'll probably crucify me for that I've never played. But I remember hearing about those games, and it's weird because like I got into RPG games later in life, and it's just something that's never like tickled my fancy.
It hit me at the exact right time. I think Final Fantasy VII was kind of like the gateway drug for a lot of people of that age. And like, I remember a friend had it, and like, he's like, "Oh man, you got to see this game." And it like blew my mind at the time because it's like, there's like numbers everywhere and it's turn based, but it was like so epic. And I was like, it's more than one disc. What? Like, it completely blew my mind. And like, I remember we used to play it. Like, it would just be like a weekend, and we'd see if we could beat the first disc in like one day. So we'd start like that evening and literally stay up till like 6 a.m. to see if we could beat the first disc. But I mean, I played it so many times. I have it on Switch. I bought the remaster on Switch. I played it a while back. The remake is actually very good. If you haven't played it, I would strongly suggest the remake. Probably easier to access than trying to play the old one nowadays, but highly recommend it. But yeah, it was just epic. It introduced that whole style of game to me and kind of hooked me on them ever since.
I mean, I hear a lot of people talk about like those Final Fantasy games, and it sounds like it's a lot of the reoccurring thing. Like the first one is the one that hooks you in. So what's your other 4, or is that just 1 through 5 because of the double discs? I mean, that could be acceptable as well, Jake.
No, I've got a few. So I'll go. Going off the grandma's NES, I have Mario 3. Like I said, she had all 3 of them, but Mario 3 was always kind of like the GOAT for me. It was actually like, so as a kid, I never beat it. It was like a few years ago, and I got it on an emulator so I could beat it because it was like, man,
because you can save it now.
Right, yeah. So I just fucking save stated it and then every time I would die on the end level. But yeah, I can't even tell you how many hours I must have played that game trying to beat it. And like just all the like my sister showed me like, hey, you can get the whistle in the first world or whatever, and just all of that. It was just kind of like my first like experience of getting that into a game and trying to beat it. And I just have so many memories of playing that game. It's like, obviously it's a great game, but it's a lot of nostalgia for me. Like video games are for a lot of us, I think. But
yeah,
Mario 3 on the NES for sure. I can keep going. So Star Fox 64 on Nintendo 64. That's another one. That is, yeah, I love that game so much. I can play it. I have I forgot I have a 3DS. That's another one you could throw on there on my consoles.
Nice.
Love my 3DS for a while. A lot of great games on DS and 3DS.
I got that big bastard just for all my Pokemon games. Like, yeah.
Right. But Star Fox 64, that is a game I could pick up and play. You can beat it in like a couple of hours, but it's so satisfying. It's basically what I wanted that fucking Air Combat game to be. Just like, like on rails, like flying a spaceship, blowing stuff up. So good. It's such a satisfying game. Again, that's another one I played, especially because you can just, like, it's one of those games you could just pick up in an afternoon and just beat it. And you're like, that was good to beat Star Fox again. Man, I'm so disappointed that they never went. It seems like that series like never recaptured that magic. Like they went in all these weird directions with like them being on land and walking around and all this stupid bullshit. Like I want them to just make another Star Fox 64 like for Switch. Please, God, give it to me.
Yes, Nintendo, I know you're listening because I ping you every day to listen.
There you go.
So please do it at least for Jake. At least 2. If you remake it, I'll buy it. So at least two of them will be made to be bought.
Such a classic. Now this sounds more and more Nintendo fanboy as we go, but I'm going to go with Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. That would be the Super Nintendo entry. That was one of the. So I had the NES, and like my friends, like when I started hanging out with, actually getting friends where you go to their house and stuff in like second grade or whatever, they had a Super Nintendo, and they were like, I remember playing the old Zelda at my grandma's house, and that game was just like super baffling as a kid. Like they don't tell you what to do. Like it's Like I could always beat the first dungeon, but then be completely lost, and there was no like game FAQs to go to, so I just like never knew what to do. And then they showed me the one on Super Nintendo, which was just like way better graphics, way more straightforward, and like that's another one I could play anytime. Just pick up and play it. Uh, just fantastic game. I wouldn't call myself like a Zelda super fan. I mean, I played most of them, but definitely Link to the Past is like a classic for me.
All right, and that's 4, right?
Yep. I
Give
struggled
me
on the
that
last
last
one. Last one, I almost went. There's a few options here. I could easily go like our pal Matt Souza and go Tony Hawk, particularly Tony Hawk 2. That's one I put a lot of time into. Me and my friends used to play all of them, but 2 is the one that always is like the one that stands out to me because it was such a big jump from 1 to 2. But for you, Scott, I think I'm going to go particularly, kind of fell off after Gold and Silver, but I'm going to go Pokemon Red and Blue, the OG.
Oh,
Even though Silver and Gold is probably my favorite that I've
yeah.
played. I haven't played much after that, but just those, if I could cheat, I'll go from Red and Blue to Gold and Silver. Just
Hey,
challenge hours. I remember having the adapter because I didn't want to burn the battery, so I had the adapter you could plug into the wall. Oh man, the best.
So me and my little brother had them, and we actually had like the trade cables. And there was for gold and silver when you did the trade, if you cut the game off at the right time, both of the like you would keep your Pokemon, but you would also get the one that you traded for. So like we were just like doing multiple copies. It's and dude, I could have a whole Pokemon episode on this because like I have like Pokemon Home, which I'm paid $15 a year so I can store all my Pokemon, so I can have like a living Pokedex. It's absurd. Like I'm a lunatic. So one of my questions that I ask is if you have a comfort game, but you already mentioned that you have a couple comfort games with like Super Mario Brothers 3, like the Final Fantasy game. Like that sounds like a complete comfort game with you, where it takes you back.
The RPGs to me, like in general, are like a comfort game, like the turn-based ones, because it's like, it's not like super intense where you really have to be paying a ton of attention to like exact, because it's a lot of it is just like you're reading what the characters are saying, or like you pick your moves one at a time. So you could literally be in the middle of a battle and like go get a drink, and like as long as you clicked whatever you're going to do, like attack or defend or whatever. So it's like real casual in that way. So you don't have to completely have your brain like. It's like playing Mario, where it can be, like where you have to like time everything. So in that way, it's comforting. They're super long. It's like, to me, like tucking into a nice long book, like a cozy book, and you just sit there and grind through this like 80-hour game.
I totally get that. And also, Jake, before we get into our next little thing, since you have kids, and I don't know about you, but my parents never understood that you can't pause a game at certain points. So I just need you to when you're yelling for like your kids to come help you with something, you got to realize they might not be able to pause. I just need you to like pass that on to future generations.
It's actually like the opposite for us, because like, so my wife has been playing, she just finished Elden Ring. She was like obsessed with it for weeks.
Oh my
God.
God.
So on Elden Ring, because it's like Dark Souls and stuff, it's so intense, like you can't pause. And so it'd be like the opposite, where like, the kids or whatever, and she's like, I can't fucking pause. So that's how life is now. Now the parents are like, goddamn kids, gotta pause my game.
I can't pause it. Like I remember like getting grounded because like we're in the middle of like a final battle, and I was like, I can't pause it. Like you're just gonna have to wait. Like I'm sorry. Like you don't understand. This is important to me.
That's why the Switch is so great, man. You can just click that Switch. You can just like pause anytime. You just click that sleep button, and then you're done.
Just
let that thing sleep.
Yeah. So, you brought up your wife how she plays Elden Ring, and another game that you guys just bought that is brand new, and it's a remake. I just wanted your review of Resident Evil 4 because you sent me that you were playing it. I was really excited for it. I love those games, even though like I say I love them, but I haven't played them in years. I don't know. They're full of nostalgia for me. So, give me your Resident Evil 4 review.
So, have you played give me the quick and dirty. Have you played like 1 through 3? Do you play the old PS1 ones? Do you ever play 4?
No, I've never played 4. I knew about it on GameCube. I did not own a GameCube when it came out. I played 1 through 3. As you talked about with like the big disc, like I'm pretty sure it was 2 or 3 had the 2 discs.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like Resident Evil 1 has a lot of nostalgia because me and like my brother and my 2 stepbrothers used to crown around my dad as he played the first game, and like talking about how you couldn't go online to figure out how to beat stuff. He actually bought the Prima strategy guide.
Oh yeah.
So he could see how we could beat like the end mission. So like it just holds like a lot of nostalgia for us, and like
cheat. We used to call them cheat books. Oh man, I miss those too.
Yeah.
What a time! What a time to be alive. Or you could go and like you get like $5 off if you bought the game and the strategy guide.
Yeah.
God,
they
what
made,
a world.
Yeah, they made a killing with that. Then the internet came, and it was like gamefaqs.com, and they told you how to beat the game.
Yeah, just like anything now. They're wait a second, nerds will just do this for free. Just type this out in like WordPad or whatever and put it on the internet.
Yeah, and now it's
just
like
for clout.
That's exactly how it is for internet points. And now it's like if I get stuck on a video game, like I put into YouTube, like I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy, and I've been trying to like do all like the side missions and stuff on this, and I'm just like, how do I get past this part? And like, I'll find it, but yeah. So sorry. So that's with Resident Evil is
very good. Yeah. Well, I would highly recommend you play 4. This would be the perfect time. This sounds like they paid me, but but Resident Evil 4 has always been like, truth be told, if I knew we weren't going to be talking about this anyway, I would have maybe put it in my top 5 because it's hands down my favorite Resident Evil, because it kind of melded like the vibes of the original Resident Evils are really awesome, like the atmosphere, everything, but the controls and the combat certainly leave a lot to be desired. And like when they designed them, they really worried about that stuff as much. Resident Evil 4 is where like they put the whole package together, where it was like they didn't lose the like horror aspects of it, but they made the gameplay like so much better and the shooting so much more satisfying, and like you could actually aim and you have like a laser like aimer and stuff. You could do headshots. So it kind of blended it all together into like this perfect package. And the remake recaptured it. To me, it's like I don't want to say like they had an easy job, but like to me to remake this game is like you'd almost have to actively try to fuck it up because the original is so good. It still holds up. Like you could play the original and like still it would be really good. And the remake is just that. Like they didn't do anything crazy. It's just much better graphics. The controls are similar. I think they maybe slowed the game down just a little bit to make it, because I think Resident Evil 4 is a little more actiony like the original, and this one they kind of toned it back to where focus a little bit more on the atmosphere. But I love the story of that game. It doesn't have a lot of what I don't like in some of the old Resident Evils, where you do a lot of backtracking, where it's like, all right,
yeah, that was a pain in the ass.
Right. So Resident Evil 4 is much more like straightforward. Like you're always moving forward. The shooting is incredible, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think the remake is if I would highly recommend, Scott, if you didn't play the original because you didn't have a GameCube because you weren't an idiot like me, to get the newer one, the remake, because it definitely takes the original and just like repackages it with sick, ridiculous, absolutely absurd graphics. And I think like I want to say the voice acting and stuff is probably improved from 2004, whenever they did it. But yeah, it holds up to the original and it is fantastic. Highly recommend it. Just finished it.
Yeah, it's funny while you were looking at it. I was looking at it on the PlayStation app, and I was like, oh, I'll wait till payday to purchase it. But it has one of my favorite characters who was introduced in the second one, Leon. I was a big fan of like Leon, and Claire, I believe is the girl's name, and I even like Chris, who was in the first one, and I can't think of the chick's name who is the first protagonist. Like you could choose Jill Kennedy.
Jill,
yes.
yeah, Jill.
So like those were like my OGs, and like it made me like actually look up to see like Resident Evil 2 that they've re-released, and I'm like, damn, do I want to get that? So Jake, you might have sent me down a dangerous rabbit hole.
They're all good. The remakes are very good. 3 is, but put it this way, they're similar to their source material. So like 3 is not the greatest, the original. So the remake, is not fantastic. But 2 and 4 are rip, definitely, because the original is rip. So they didn't, again, like I said, they didn't do anything to like, they didn't drastically change anything. They just made it better, smoother, made it like, upgraded everything 20 years into the future. So, and I think it was smart by them to not just, it's like playing the OG, but just with like absurd PlayStation 5 graphics.
Yeah, and that's what this is on. This is on. I mean, it's on all the consoles, but it's on the newer consoles as well. So if anyone's interested, check that out. If you want to send some money to Jake via Venmo for that, I'll have that linked in the description for his courier fee
for this paid review that I did for Capcom. Gushing about this game.
It made me want to get into it, so like I added it to my wish list and everything as you were discussing it.
Definitely different than I would say, because not if you're worried about like the tank controls of the old ones, definitely not, because that's kind of what like RE4 kind of busted that open even back at the original. So much different experience than those old ones.
And this actually leads us perfectly to our some video game news and notes for the month of April.
Perfect.
This so Resident Evil had some movies that did not follow the source material at all, as we saw. But I can't speak for the newest movie, but it looked like it was sort of close to source material. They made that crappy show with Lance Reddick, R.I.P., which looks like it did not follow the source material, but somehow Resident Evil had like 8 or 9 movies. One movie that came out in the month of at the beginning of the month of April was Super Mario Brothers, barreling toward a certified box office hit. Looks like we're going to have some sequels. They even hinted towards it sort of in the movie if you were paying attention. And so that's a big hit. Last of Us has gotten rave reviews for TV. Mm-hmm. Jake, have you seen either Super Mario Brothers movie or the Last of Us TV show?
So I haven't watched Last of Us yet. I played both the games. I played 1 and 2. Haven't watched the show yet. Just kind of haven't been in the mood for it, I guess. I know it's supposed to be like pretty draining a bit. So I don't know if maybe that's why I haven't or whatnot. But I'm sure it's good. I'm a big Pedro Pascal mark, so I'm sure it's very good. But I've watched the Mario Brothers movie because I have a young son, and we won't watch it. They got my money. And it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess I was expecting it more, to be honest, just how everyone had hyped it up, and it was fine. But like, I enjoyed like the stuff with Donkey Kong, but probably because I'm a Donkey Kong mark, to be completely honest.
It did not have. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for like Pixar level like character development and pathos, no, definitely it's not that. But if you just want to watch essentially like a 90-minute like Mario like fever dream music video, then this is your movie.
Perfectly right. So that brings me to my next question. What video game series would you like to see either adapted for the big screen or for TV?
So my answer to this is, and it would be like, well, Jake, this already exists. But I would say like those RPG games I was talking about seem like they'd be perfect for some like a TV show, like a prestige TV. And then anybody would probably say, well, Jake, why wouldn't you just watch anime? Which somehow I'm into all these RPG games, but have never gotten into anime. I don't know, just never. Yeah, I mean, like I watched like Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid or whatever, but I've never, for whatever reason, it's never struck me. All these games do, but not anime. But I would like to see like an HBO level, because these are like these epic games that are very story driven anyway. If someone could just like take that and like give it the HBO treatment of like 5 seasons, 12 episodes a season, and just like take one of these like Final Fantasies or something and like do it justice. And like, which, the recent trend has been really encouraging where like they really are giving these like video game franchises like the prestige TV treatment, which is encouraging.
Which is because for so long, like video games that were made in movies were complete shit. Looking at you, Doom. Right. Looking at you, OG Super Mario Brothers. The Sonic original, like design for Sonic, it looked like he was like crackhead Sonic. So, And those movies have been a lot of fun. Like I've really enjoyed those Sonic movies. It even goes back further than that. Like yeah, I'm with you with the anime thing. Like I think that's like I'm a nerd. Like I can spend the whole podcast talking about all the nerd shit I'm into. I think anime may be like a bridge too far. Um, no offense if you like it, that's perfect. I love wrestling. Like I was literally watching a random 1996 show before I started this podcast today, so I had literally zero room to talk. But it's just one of those things where it's just really isn't for me. And I'm with you. I would love. I played the Mass Effect games. I don't know if you've ever played those. I do suggest those. Those seem right up your alley.
Yes.
If you haven't played them, but I would love to have like 1, 2, and 3. Like you can get like 5 or 6 seasons out of those games. But I would love that. Like I said, I'm a big Destiny fan. Like they have so much lore with that. You could do whatever with that. Hogwarts Legacy, I don't want to get too controversial with that. Yes, they're making those new the TV shows for all the books. I'm gonna love that. I think it's too early to reboot it. I would love them to do a Hogwarts Legacy TV show, personally. But hell, give me a Donkey Kong movie. If they're, I know the quote unquote the universe thing, but if they do a Nintendo universe, they could do like Donkey Kong, Metroid, and something we're going to talk about here is Zelda. I'm surprised a Zelda TV show or movie has never came across.
Yeah, I've heard like off the Mario movie, like a Luigi's Mansion kind of go kind of Ghostbusters with it. That could be cool. Any of that's cool because I think they can make any of that good now just because I feel like they know if they make it up to at least a certain quality, they're going to make like $1 billion on that kind of stuff just because any movies like that do well now that they don't. I think the issue with a lot of the ones from our, when we were younger is that they just kind of mailed it in. Like, yeah, fuck it, it's Mario. And they did on the cheap. Now they know they can, even if they put like $100 million in these movies, they're still going to make like literally $1 billion. So they'll actually like invest the money into them.
Yeah, as we speak, Jake, Super Mario Brothers has made $871 million globally and is on its way to the $1 billion mark in the next week or so. So by the time you hear this, listener, it will have made $1 billion. Holy shit!
Not shocked.
So, just something like that. I would be cool with the space opera with Mass Effect. I want that actually.
Mass Effect, that is a $1 billion idea. That would work so well.
Long as it's not like how Paramount kind of. I didn't watch it because even though I'm a big Destiny fan, I never played Halo. But supposedly Paramount Plus butchered the Halo game, the TV show, which I'm not trying to throw sticks and stones, but it's Paramount Plus. What do you expect? And so some other big news this month is we got the Street Fighter 6 demo out now before it's released on 6/2. And what they're allowing you to transfer your characters over after that. Jake, I'm not the biggest fighting fan. I think the last fighting game I actually owned was Soul Calibur 2 on the Dreamcast. Yes. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, are you a big fighting fan?
As a kid, in my youth, we were the Tekken games were big for me as a kid. Even going back to Super Nintendo, playing not even just Mortal Kombat, we would hit the Killer Instinct. But yeah, it was something. And I think it's just how games have progressed in general. But it's kind of I've kind of gravitated. Not since I was younger, the fighting games haven't been a huge deal for me.
Yeah. And so that's out. I know those are big. I was shocked that there were 6, and so we're just rocking and rolling with that. But this leads into our releases for the month of May. So the first release, and we got these this month from the Game Informer website. The first one is Age of Wonders 4. It's for PS5, Xbox, and PC. Rule a fantasy realm of your own design at Age of Wonders 4. Explore new magical realms in Age of Wonders' signature blend of 4K strategy and turn-based tactical contact. Control a faction that grows and changes as you expand your empire with each turn. Jake, that sounds like Civilization, which it feels like there's a new one of these games released every month because last month I was literally just talking about it, and that was my example as well. Right. I'm not a big fan of that. but it seems like there is some type of people out there for that.
Yeah, I bought the Civil because I used to play. I wonder if this is off of Age of Empires. I remember playing that when I was younger, like on PC. But I picked up Civilization for Switch because it's always on sale for like $6. I just bought it one time,
Yeah.
and it was just like I didn't have the stamina to like figure out how to play. Like I do like those games. Like as a kid, I play like SimCity and stuff, but it's hard because now games are inherently more complex. So I didn't have the energy to figure it out.
Yeah, and I'm stealing this from someone. I can't remember if I saw like a comedian say it or like I read it on Twitter, but it was like video games need like something in their like tutorial, like, oh, you haven't played this game in 6 months? Here's how you play it again. Something like that.
Right.
Because like I'll go back and I'll be like, how the hell do I do this? So, game's not really for me, but we'll see what happens. The next game is one of the big releases for the month of May, and it's Xbox exclusive with the PC because of the Xbox and Microsoft tie-in, called Redfall. I know there's a lot of people looking forward to this. It's called the town of Redfall is under siege by a legion of vampires who have cut the island off from the outside world. Trapped with a handful of survivors, slay alone or squad up in an open world first person action. I'm not gonna lie, that game sounds like a lot of fun. If I had an Xbox, I'd probably wait for it to go on sale because, killing a vampire sounds right up my alley. First person shooter, and like it sounds like you can even play with friends, which is always fun to do. Next game is Super Dungeon Maker for Switch and PC, and it comes out May 3rd. And this is a creative pixel art dungeon editor inspired by the best 2D adventure games. It sounds like you can create your own dungeon because it says choose however many levels, enemies, secret rooms, traps, and items you want. Challenge your friends in the community to master your dungeon or play the countless dungeons of the community. So it sounds like, hey, we're giving you the base level. You need to create your own dungeon, have your friends create it. Sounds like you're paying me to do work like we're going to eat at the place where you have to make your own food. So no thank you. And rounding us out for this this game sounds like a game up your alley, Jake, called Ravenlock, but sadly it's only for the Xbox games and the PC. It's an action-adventure RPG where players embark on an action-packed fairy tale adventure about a young heroine destined to fulfill a perilous prophecy, battle monsters and bosses with real-time combat and 3D pixel art aesthetic, world played by sinister darkness of a tyrannical queen. That game actually sounds like a lot of fun, to be honest. Sadly, I don't have an Xbox. I think if I told my wife I was going to buy another gaming system just to play like one or two games, she would, murder me, which is completely understandable. It's already played the PS5 enough as it is. So, Jake, out of those first four that we went through, any tickling your fancy?
Again, a lot of Xbox, which I just never been an Xbox person, but I've heard of the Redfall game, and I want to say the developer, there's some other game, like they've done a game in the past that was kind of a big deal. But yeah, that does sound good. I think I've heard of this one. It's like, I want to say it's like Boston or something, as if Boston was overrun by vampires or something. But yeah, it sounds like one of these. Well, yeah, it sounds like a bunch of Sousa's fighting zombies. But it sounds like one of these Xbox games where I'm like, that's probably really fun. Open world, first person shooter, but probably just not my deal.
Yeah, I feel the same way. There's a game called Starfield that's coming out.
Oh, yes.
But it's only for Xbox.
That could be. I've seen a lot of this game. That is the one game I've seen that I was like, ooh, that could maybe. Depending on how it goes, we'll see once it releases. I might buy an Xbox for that because that sounds excellent.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but like I'll have to wait for reviews because there's a game sort of similar to that got released called No Man's Sky, and
yes.
I know that game got fixed with many patches, but the first game I was like, man, I got to be tripping on acid to play this fucking game, and I bought it and I think I maybe put like 7 hours into it, and I was like, nope, I'm gonna wait for reviews from now on for like stuff I don't trust or anything.
I'm hoping for like a more even more open worldy Mass Effect. If they can do that, then
they said you can join different factions, Jake. I might have to have you on for a special preview episode because it's hitting all the right marks. That's all I'm saying for me right now. Right. And especially September might be a dangerously packed release time of the year with not only Starfield but also the new Spider-Man game. Which, if you haven't played the first one, Jake, I suggest you play it. And it's on PlayStation. So anyway, back to that, because I could go rant about that for ages. We're gonna have probably the biggest release of the year, or at least the biggest release of the month of May, and probably this whole second quarter coming up. But we'll get to that shortly. Before that is Death or Treat, and this is for the PS5, the Xbox, and the PC. And it's a 2D action roguelike and hack and slash with hand-painted environments and traditional animation. Explore all worlds and defeat hordes of enemies using different weapons and skills. And then we have Darkest Dungeon, releasing May 8th for the PC. It's a roguelike road trip with the damned. Form a party, equip your stagecoach, and set off across the decaying landscape on a last-gasp quest to avert the apocalypse. The greatest danger you face, however, may come from within. I don't know, that sounds like Oregon Trail to me. And then we have, I know I'm probably killing the butcher for this, Ys 9 Monstrum Nox, which comes out on PS5. It's a re-release of a game that has already came out, and it's like after being cursed by a mysterious woman, Adolf Christian becomes a monstrum, a powerful being who can exorcise monsters. To escape the prison city of Baldug, Adol, that's dangerous, must ally with 5 other monstrums, each with their own unique gifts, and stop the Grimwald Nox, a shadowy dimension on the brink of overflowing into the real world. And when I did my research for this, I couldn't find that it was on the Sony store, so I wonder if this is only like a Japan release, Jake, because that's sort of what it feels like.
I've played one, I forget which one, maybe like 8 or 7. This is like a really old series. It goes back way to like the 80s, I think. But I played one of them. They're like totally fine, like action RPG-ish kind of games. But I kind of bounced off of it like about halfway through because it just kind of like, I kind of lost motivation. Like it wasn't bad. It's just like they're perfectly fine. Like usually the Ys games, like just, kind of hack and slashy adventure games. But yeah, that's about all I know about them.
And here is the biggest release of the month. And it's in the middle of the month because, guys, I do these in order, so sorry. Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, Switch, May 12th, which that is a Friday, which, Jake, I wish the video game people would have done this when we were in school, when they were releasing these games on Friday instead of Tuesdays, so it would screw me up. But I'm just going to go over this. An epic adventure across the lands and skies of Hyrule awaits in The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom for the Switch. The adventure is yours to create in a world fueled by your imagination. The sequel to The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, you'll decide your own path through the sprawling landscapes of Hyrule and the mysterious islands floating in the vast skies above. Can you harness the power of Link's new abilities to fight back against the malevolent forces that threaten the kingdom? Guys, don't kill me on this. I've never played a Zelda game. I get the appeal. It seems like something up my alley. I know a lot of people are looking forward to this. Even people that, like, I didn't think that was into video games. I've seen them talk about this game. Jake, are you going to pick this one up?
Yeah, I think I will. It probably won't be like, right when it comes out, just because, like, I know if I start playing it, it's going to be like a huge undertaking because it's going to be huge because Breath of the Wild was. I did play Breath of the Wild, put quite a few hours into it. It's very good. But, yeah, I'm sure it's going to be I can't imagine it not being really good, but it'll probably be one of those, like I said, where it's, I have a million other things already kind of on the backlog. I'll have to wait until I'm like mentally prepared to take on, another huge, gigantic open world Zelda game.
And do you 100% those games, Jake?
No way. No. When I play Breath of the Wild, I mean, it's like I'm not like a platinum person. I just don't have that much time in my life. And it doesn't, even if I did, it doesn't really appeal to me. I just kind of play it until I feel like
we're done here.
I don't know. Yeah, like satiated, I guess. Yeah.
That's I mean,
but it's going to be huge. You're right. Yeah, I mean,
it's going to. They've already released a special edition Switch for it, like, all types of stuff.
It's going to be a big old thing.
Yeah, and you can see because, like, guys, when I set up this this document, like the past for the first 2 episodes, I would have like 6 or 7 pages, and it's like video game companies know, like, don't put too many games this month because this is only 4 pages. So it shows you, like, I know May's kind of a dead month, May and June's, because it's weird with, like, the kids are out for summer. They don't want to release a lot of video games during that time. But you can definitely see that, like, hey, Zelda's coming out. We're going to get destroyed. No one's going to buy our game. So it's better to just push it. Probably one of the reasons why the Suicide Squad game was pushed, also besides being crap, as we saw. But that has now a release date of February of 2024, which will be 7 years since 7 or 8 years since Rocksteady has released a game. But anyway, back to this. Humanity. This is for the PlayStation VR, PS4, and the PC. A unique blend of puzzle solving and action platforming. Humanity puts the fate of all mankind in your hands. Or pause. Did we mention you're a dog? You're a Shiba Inu, charged with commanding massive marching crowds to jump, turn, push, float, shoot, and climb their way to salvation. Guide the masses through 90-plus stages filled with obstacles, enemies, puzzles, unlockable skills, and wild boss fights in the narrative campaign. Or browse a wild array of user-made levels, or build your own, crafted via the super easy-to-use in-game stage creator. 1, this sounds like a ripoff of Stray. 2, I hate the VR stuff. To steal from Mean Girls, stop making VR a thing. It's not a thing. And 3, I'm tired of all these, like, build your own stuff. Like, no, man, we're paying you to build the game. Like, But what's your opinion on VR, Jake, before we get...
Yeah, not a VR person. I think we might just be old shift because I could tell you youth, they love their Oculus, but I'm old and it just makes me ill. So...
Yeah, no, thank you. So this leads us to another game, Firmament, which is on PC and Mac, and it's a puzzle adventure game by the legendary game studio behind the best-selling games Myst and Riven. Featured deep storytelling and world building. Discover the story and seemingly abandoned world as you explore it and unlock the mysteries of three unique realms, easy for me to say, and beyond. No, thank you. Just
unique New York. New York.
Yeah, that's like, I cannot get past that word. And the last game for this, this could be a pretty fun game if they do it right. It's called Lego 2K Drive. It's coming out for all the platforms. Coming out May 19th. Welcome to Bricklandia, home of massive open world Lego driving adventure. Race anywhere, play with anyone, build your dream rides, and defeat a cast of wild racing rivals for the coveted Sky Trophy. This seems like they're trying to get a little bit of that Mario Kart money. Which, if they do, those Lego games are tons of fun, and I like how they say play with anyone. That sounds like it's cross-platform, which opens up a lot.
Yeah, this could be cool. Like there's like a Lego Worlds game. My kid has that one. It's almost like Minecraft for Legos, kind of. And so I imagine this is like that with cars. So
yeah,
Legos. I mean.
Yeah, kids love the Lego games. I played the Harry Potter ones that were based on the movies, and they were a lot of fun. But yeah, and but I guess if Lowe's the only one I would try would be the Lego one. And I think I remember reading the Lego game was free, but I'll have to double check that myself. Probably not, knowing Lego. But yeah. And coming up next, we're already on May 22nd. We're already almost through this month. Inkbound for the PC. It reinvents turn-based gameplay in a fluid, online-only co-op rogue that's a lot of crappy buzzwords, just FYI. From the creators of Monster Train, play solo or party up to dive into the magical, dangerous books of the Anthium Library and fight to save the rich, ever-expanding world. I mean, turn-based gameplay is fun, but like when you throw away all those buzzwords, it makes me sound like the game's going to be crap. And you're
a lot of roguelike in here.
Yeah,
a lot of roguelike. I think it's
hack and slash.
It's that Hades influence, man.
Yeah,
which Hades is awesome. But you could. Oh, I loved Hades, but yeah, when I see all these wanting to call it a roguelike, it's like they're trying to get some of the Hades shine.
That's definitely what it feels like. So here's how I'm getting old. After Us, I thought this was a sequel to Among Us at first, and I did a little research, and it is not. But it's a
The Last of Us After Us.
Yeah, and but this sounds actually pretty interesting. It's a touching platforming adventure about human impact, sacrifice, and hope, where you'll need to navigate an abstract world and salvage the souls of extinct animals. The last animals have died, and Mother has used all of her life force to save their souls, now trapped in their vessels. Revive these creatures after learning their final fate. The last whale harpooned, the final eagle caged, the last deer hunted, down and more. Utilize Gaia's special abilities to survive encounters with dangerous, oil-covered creatures known as Devourers that roam the wasteland in search for the remaining life. In this emotional journey, I know. In this emotional journey from the creators of the critically acclaimed Arise, a simple story, you alone can restore life to the planet. So it sounds interesting, and it's not like a hack and slash or like, hey, you're creating your own level type stuff. So like, I'm down for it. So any of those, what you would pick up?
Yeah, probably not. But the After Us is probably the most. But yeah, I don't think it's ready to Among Us. But that sounds interesting. But yeah, I'll probably pass on Inkbound.
Yeah. All right. So the next four, like I said, it's not a good month for video games outside of Lease, outside of Zelda and maybe Redfall. Amnesia: The Bunker is a first-person horror game set in a desolate World War I bunker. Face the oppressing terrors stalking the dark corridors. Search for and use the tools and weapons at your disposal while keeping the lights on at all costs. Overcome fear, persevere, and make your way out alive. World War I already sucked enough with the use of the mustard gas. So, like, don't know what we're doing.
They're like, it's like World War One, but scary. It's like, oh, it's pretty scary to begin with.
Yeah, it's like what else are you gonna do to it? All right, so the next game we have is Bread and Fred coming out May 23rd on PC. Grab your best bud for help in this new co-op challenge to help two adorable penguins, Bread and Fred, reach the top of the snowy summit. Time your jumps, clean the walls, and swing across gaps to see how far you can make it before you tumble all the way back down the mountain. This sounds like something the kids would love, and like you would just see them like just love it. The next game is I added this just because it made me laugh, but I usually don't do like Switch and iPhone games. But it's Farming Simulator 23, which makes me wonder how long they've been releasing these. Grow crops.
I've seen these before. This is a thing.
Yeah. Grow your agricultural empire. Become a modern farmer. Jesus. To operate more than 100 authentic machines by Cash, Kloss, Dukes Far, Fendt, John Deere, Krone, Massey Ferguson, New Holland, and Valtra, and many other acclaimed manufacturers from around the world, offering a wide range of farming activities. Choose what kind of farmer you want to be. Do you think you can grow weed in this game?
I'm going to go doubtful. I think you play this at your Daytona party.
That's what I did play.
Yeah. I like a Harvest Moon or like a Stardew Valley, but this is a little bit too real for me. I don't need to have like name brand tractors in my game.
Got the solid John Deere, $33,000 it cost me. The next game is Mishima Chronicles. Comes out May 23rd for the PlayStation 5, Xbox, and the PC. From the creators of Mutant Zero One, Road to Eden comes a beautifully crafted tactical adventure you won't forget. Embark on a quest across a post-apocalyptic wasteland torn apart by a savage force known only as the Mishima. Could be interesting. It's one of those things I'll have to wait for reviews. So, Jake, out of all those games, why are you getting Farming Simulator 23?
Because, nothing says a good video game time to me than just getting my Massey Ferguson and harvesting some wheat.
You got to get your dip in, too, while you play. To add to the real
100 authentic machines. 100. So many machines.
I know. It's absurd. So this game, it's a VR game coming up. Hello Neighbor Search and Rescue. Just for the VR. Like, just burn it with fire. It's a groundbreaking VR horror puzzle where you sneak into your creepy neighbor's house to save your friend. It sounds like the last 10 minutes of Disturbia.
Right.
All right, and this game, Jake. So
this sounds like it could be like one of these things. Like, is this a real game or is it not? But go ahead.
Yeah. This game, I have a feeling it's gonna crash and burn because I've heard some mostly negative things about this, but we'll get to that. It's Lord of the Rings Gollum, PlayStation 5, Xbox, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. I've heard nothing about this game. No marketing material at all. We're a month before this game comes out. and it just seems like it's set up to fail. He's got nothing more to lose. How far will he go to retrieve his precious? Taking place in parallel to the events described in the Fellowship of the Ring, the Lord of the Rings Gollum's an action-adventure game and an epic interactive experience. You play as the enigmatic Gollum on his perilous journey and to find out how he outwitted the most powerful creatures in the Middle Earth. All right. Fair warning, I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan at all. I've tried watching it multiple times. Just couldn't get into it.
Not super into it either, but this is a choice. It's certainly a choice for a game. To play as Gollum. It'd be like playing you get your Dobby game.
Yeah, I gotta get the doll from Sean's house. This feels like a game that would be released on the PS2. Does that make sense?
That's like a Wii game.
Yeah, like it's like, what the hell are you gonna do? In parallel events to the first game, in the first movie or book, and I read something where I guess they're gonna release a DLC that they're charging for, where where everyone speaks like Elvish or something, and it's like. But I've seen no marketing materials for this game at all. It wouldn't surprise me if this thing got pushed. I went to GameStop.com today just to look around at video games because, like I said, I got to know what the hell's going on. Nothing for this game comes out in a month. Lord of the Rings is a big ass IP, so it's it seems like this game may be DOA on arrival, dead on arrival.
If I would have known any better, I would have thought you made this up as a joke. The Gollum game.
Just throwing it in there. Just throwing it in there for you guys. Right. But yeah, it doesn't look good. Okay. So, we got 2 more games left. Company of Heroes 3 on May 30th. PlayStation 5 and Xbox. It's a real-time strategy game, which Jake loves because he played Ace Combat. Of course. Developed by Relic Entertainment and published by Sega for Windows, a sequel to Company Heroes 2. The game features new mechanics and modes and is set in the Italian and North African theaters of World War II. Not for me, dog.
Not familiar with the Company of Heroes series, I have to say. So
I just don't even know. And rounding out May, it's called System Shock, and this is coming out on PC. Now I've heard of this game before. But it's a full-fledged remake of the original from 1994, combining cult gameplay of all new HD visuals, updated controls. They overhauled the interface and all new sounds. Has the original voice actor of Shodan, who's the gaming's most iconic villains, witnessed the rebirth of one of the greatest and most influential games ever created. So that rounds out the month of May. Jake, anything you're gonna buy besides Zelda?
Most likely not, because it sounds like Redfall's the other one, which is I believe that's a big Xbox release. So luckily Zelda is probably about 300 hours of gameplay, so I could probably get by without any of the other ones. But what about you? Anything jumping out to you?
Not really. I mean, I'm kind of interested in After Us. That sounds like one of those games that you play and you're like, damn, maybe I should be stoned playing this game. But besides Zelda, but I feel weird to jump in just to Tears of the Kingdom. I would have to play Breath of the Wild first, and it's just I would have to quit my job and become a full-time Twitch streamer just to see what the hell's going on. Also, Ravenlock sounds like a lot of fun, but that's just on Xbox as well. So maybe this is the rule to send me to buy an Xbox. Maybe.
Or just play Zelda.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it is.
Take the dip, Scott. Take the dip.
Yep, that's what I'm going to have to do. So that brings another end to this episode of Play While You Listen. Jake, before we get out of here, thank you for being on. I greatly appreciate it. Is there anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, I do quite a few wrestling podcasts on North-South Connection. I got the Ruthlessly Aggressive podcast going through the Ruthless Aggression era starting in 2002 up to about spring of 2003 at this point. So going through that. The Place to Be Nation Wrestling feed, I do Highway to the Impact Zone with Logan and the rest of our experts over there. Going through TNA, we're in 2006. And of course, Scott, you, I, and the guys do YouTube Roulette on the Place to Be Nation Wrestling feed, where we watch a few random matches every month off of YouTube, and we kind of just go, just talk about whatever, Mystery Science Theater style. So that's always a lot of fun, a little bit more laid back. So check all those out.
Yeah, tons of fun. Definitely check out Rap. It's a weird time that Jake's in now. It's the part where, like, the Reign of Terror, you're really gonna feel it. And it's just different how Raw and SmackDown are completely different shows. Our Mystery Science Theater 3000, like, the matches may not always be great, but we are a great time. I promise you that. And I can be found on, obviously on this podcast, on Traders of the Lost Ark, also on this feed. 7 Months of Danger, where Jake's our special guest for our correspondent for Clash of Champions and pay-per-views. That's coming to an end, sadly. We're almost done with the Dangerous Alliance when Bill Watts comes in and ruins it. And if you want to play video games with me, you can find me on PSN as ScottU89. And thank you for listening, and game on.